Okay, and here we are at episode 12 of the miniseries. And in this episode, I'm going to talk about two values which I think are key in finding great talent. Those are resilience and assertiveness. Resilience is a really important one in a team because, and it's dependent, it's one of those qualities or values that is dependent upon so many of the other blocks that we've just described. Kindness, trust, humility. But it's really resilience. If you notice all high performing teams, they have one thing that's all in common, is that they're able to overcome problems. Because if you haven't got problems, you're not really performing. You're just kicking back, relaxing, living the dream. I mean, so high performing teams by nature are having to overcome something. And that means being faced generally with a barrage of difficult problems. And they may be problems which are intrinsic to the business model, but they can also be exogenous. And when those exogenous problems occur, they could be really difficult and relentless at times. And so having people around you that could be resilient enough to meet those problems, those obstacles, and overcome them consistently is great. And for me, that's what, again, keeps a team together, because they look around each other and I go, I know I can count on you, Sam. I know I can count on you, Fiona and Lewis, everyone around me, because you've demonstrated that you'll be able to get back up and keep going. The reason I think assertiveness, particularly in successful teams, is so important is because this one also is espoused by Graham Duncan, who's a great thinker on this topic. To be assertive generally means you need to be able to stand up not only for your ideas, which is very important, but also the ideas of the team. All right, so there's two ways it works. But also, so if, as an individual, you have an idea, and you don't want to have a group of people who are just bystanders, who are just along for the journey, being passive in the process of overcoming challenges and trying to be successful. And so assertiveness is like, okay, I recognize I have a job. I recognize I have a viewpoint, and I'm going to tell that viewpoint to the world. And I'm going to tell it to my team. And I'm going to assert my point. And if you push back, I'm not just going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll give in, a pushover. I'm going to tell you why I believe in this. And I'm confident enough to assert that point with humility, with integrity, all right? But I'm going to assert that point. And this is particularly important when you have a team of diverse backgrounds, because when you have people who come from different gender groups, racial groups, sexuality, income, a whole range of themes on which diversity falls, their point of view, and thus the opportunities and threats that they can identify, are different, given the same situation. But if they're not prepared to speak up, they're not prepared to be assertive and to speak about what they believe and even stand up for it and push back, then the team misses out. It's a type of dead potential. So I think it's really important. And then the other part of assertiveness is for the team. You know, if you're leading, you are a leader. There's nothing worse than having a leader in an organization who, when is having to compete politically, maybe for an agenda or a project or resources, is too much of a pushover. And again, isn't able to stand up for the beliefs and the thoughts of their team. So, and that can then create a cascade effect into the individuals who are behind that leader, and feeling like, well, they lack integrity, they don't really have good strength, he's someone I'm not really feel like is there for us. And so that can start to sort of degrade the trust that's inherent in the community. So assertiveness is a really important one.